Welcome back, boys and some girls. If it was not obvious enough yet, Hell is Us is my game of the year. No contender there. We have a few more contenders maybe coming on later this year, but we'll see about them. This video will not tell you why you should love Hell is Us, but rather tell you why I love Hell is Us. And this is a very personal thing, and it will involve spoilers for the entire game. You have been warned now, so proceed at your own risk. First thing you need to know about me is a couple of things. Number one, I hate Souls-like games. I mentioned it in my review also, but I don't like it because it's almost like playing a turn-based game, but not quite. It's almost like playing an action-style combat, but not quite. It's you attack, I defend, then you defend, then I attack. Don't like this. Number two, I live in Israel and I've witnessed a lot of chaos and a lot of war, so I know what it feels like. Number three, I cannot tolerate extremely obvious plot holes that are lazy. With those points being aired out and explained to you, I actually believe we can continue to the meat of the video. What is Hell is Us and why do I love it so much? So Hell is Us is an experience that actually lets you witness the fall of Yugoslavia in the 1990s after a dictator in the game named Yankel died, and in real life his name was Tito. He was supposedly, ended his own life. And it gives you a first-class ticket to all of the atrocities and all the horrible things that people did to one another for the sake of difference in opinion. You will be shown how both sides actually just senselessly kill one another and hate the other one for decades and even centuries. And since this is a game, you will also walk inside ruins who were used as mass killing devices in ancient times. This game is not for somebody who just wants some enjoyable casual time. The everyday person's stories in this game involve some of the worst things you can think of, and it kind of leads me to my first point about why I specifically love this game. History. I love learning about history so much. Obviously, being from Israel, the Second World War is something that you are taught about in school, and you're also tested about it to actually get your high school diploma, so I can't help but connect the two wars. The general events about the fall of Yugoslavia were already known to me previously since I said I love history, but obviously not to this level. This game actually made me do research, not out of necessity, but actually because I was curious. Learning how people are actually taught in school, how the other side is subhuman and only wants destruction, it made it all the more sad when you went to a different map and you witnessed the exact opposite thing happening from the other group. How everyday teachers hung kids they were teaching in school on a tree simply for being from the other supposed side. Or how when the soldiers from the child side took over the town, they actually abused the teacher every night to make her pay for what she did to the kids. As I said, the subject here is really not easy to make a game about, and many people are going to be repulsed and will not be able to stomach this game with such a heavy subject. So I applaud the developers for actually making this game. Into this real-life presentation, the developers inserted demons that I believe are simply there to make the horrible things that happened inside these wars seem a little bit more plausible, because it's easier to blame all the horrible things on some kind of biblical demon rather than believe that it's your fellow human who did such horrible things. To their credit, they did not half-ass the insertion of the demons into the story. They are grounded in hundreds of years of ancient history in the game, even if you put aside the unfavorability of dark folklore in the Balkans, which is the birthplace of the vampire, by the way. And this is where I want to actually slow down for a second, because it's not just history and demons that hit you, it's the feelings you get while actually playing the game. The game doesn't just tell you about the war, it actually makes you feel the weight of it every moment you play. Playing Hell is Us together with the ominous music and the heavy stories just sucks you into a world where you just want to know more. You just want to learn more about the world and its people. And as if by fate, yesterday night, YouTube Shorts actually showed me how the North Korean morning alarm music sounds, and it is extremely similar to the music in Hell is Us, and I don't think it's a coincidence. I actually think it was an influence. So here, have a listen. See, it's almost identical. Listening to this track while exploring dark rooms with creatures hiding in shaded corners, this adds so much to the ominous atmosphere and grim atmosphere the game is actually trying to present. It doesn't just look like war, it actually feels like the war. The game doesn't hide any of these things. There are no workaround words. They are using the R word for when it's abuse and the G word for when it's mass killing. I don't want to use them because YouTube doesn't like them, so I assume you know what I mean. And this is another thing why I love this game so much. It is not apologetic for what it actually wants to be. If X happened, they will say X happened and they will shove it in your face. There is no beating around the bush. You know, usually when a message like this is being broadcasted, you tend to find a very obvious bias is one of the directions. And I can definitely say that I did not find this in this game. I just can't find it. In an era where all games try to just shove something in my face, or here is my side, look. I'm glad that we actually get an equal representation of how horrible things were without having to take a side. There's also a point I want to make about how you are kind of a witness. How you can do something in every encounter, but not directly. It just adds to the thing that you're just there to witness what happened without having any actual influence on history. What I believe is, let's say there's a couple of ladies that get kidnapped into a warehouse and there's soldiers who are, you know, abusing them every night. You can't just straight up go to the door and open the door and let them out, even if there's nobody nearby. You actually need to give an item to another NPC, fast travel, and then he rescues them instead of you. At first it kind of frustrated me, like why can't I do it? But eventually I made my peace with it. I'm not 100% sure if I did though, because even now I'm not certain if I enjoyed this point or not, but I thought it was worth mentioning. I believe that the writers actually know exactly who their target audience is, adult men, and there's a couple of things that make me even more sure about this, but let's just focus on one. Rebecca is a child that you meet in the first village that you actually go to, and she had her entire family killed by an artillery shell, so mom, dad and her little brother. The only one she has left is the priest of the nearby church, who she says he's her uncle. I'm not sure if she means he's literally her uncle, or, you know, like big uncle or something. The problem is, he actually got captured by the bad guys, or the good guys, depending how you look at this, and he's about to be killed. You as the player can help through the story by doing small deeds that include giving items to certain NPCs that need specific things to solve their own problems. Again, indirectly, you cannot directly help. And if you help Rebecca and you help her uncle, you will probably meet them in the last map right before you finish the game, and you actually see them trying to start a new life along with another NPC you can help along the way for a very nice sweetness bomb right before you walk into the final encounter. This obviously appeals to the male sense of protection. Love it or hate it, it is coded into the average man to want to protect things, especially if it's a cute little girl and an adorable dog. I fell for this nice trap and I will fall for it 100 more times with zero shames. It is truly a good feel moment when you see the house in the field of blue flowers with the smoking chimney, and you can already guess what you're going to find inside simply because of your previous dialogue with both Rebecca and her uncle. Solving the complicated puzzles will also make you feel good for noticing clues in the environment and in text spread around the game. Only about 5% of the puzzles will actually force me to use external help, also known as Google, with the rest of them being either very obvious or simply requiring a little bit more focus. Because of the heavy computing power needed for the puzzles, it can become a little bit too much toward the end of the game, but if you take your time and you don't play 8 hours straight like me at the end, then you should be fine. Since I'm not perfect at English, I often ask ChatGPT to actually fix my script, so it's actually easier to read and the English is actually correct, because again, my English is not perfect. And it gave me a very interesting sentence, and I really want to let you know because it's a very smart thing that I haven't thought about myself, and I think it's really worth mentioning this. It simply said that the game doesn't treat war like entertainment, but rather like it's a memory. And I can't help but actually relate to this. This is truly the game boiled down into a sentence, and this helps me now decide that I do in fact love the fact that we are just a witness. We cannot directly influence things. We're just there to witness the fall of Yugoslavia moment to moment instead of being one of the sides inside this war. The unnatural aspect of the game was very enjoyable all throughout the game, but now when I think about it after finishing the game, it might have been a little too much Death Stranding toward the end, and I'm hoping that the next game, which was also teased after the credits, will not be full of supernatural entities and powers, but will also keep the grounded war-torn feel of the game. And unfortunately, there is plenty of wars and conflict that can be used as basis for more Hell Is Us games, in a variety of countries, kind of similar like the way that Assassin's Creed does it, like just a world tour across its many games. And that is pretty much all I have to say regarding Hell is Us. I do hope for a second game, and I'm pretty sure I will cover this game more in the future, maybe pointing at specific storylines or clever puzzles and lore. I don't know, there's a lot I like about this game. But that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, thank you. If you didn't, let me know why, so I can improve it. Keep it safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.